But yeah, dude. So for the most part, yeah, we're watching the show, right? And it was, I pretty much enjoyed some of the performances and all that. But when it came to Julia and Kathryn, that was when I wished I had the front seat, right? Now, I think the front seat was packed because I don't think I can get one. Or I don't remember if you had to pay for the VIP seating at the time. But yeah, so I was sitting in the back with Gene, and eventually another friend came in. That friend I didn't last that long either. So we were, I was enjoying the moments right here. You can see the camera that I used back then. Obviously there was no smartphone then, so I didn't have the iPhone. I just didn't have a smartphone. I think the cell phone I had was just a flip phone back then, or a slide-up phone. And then the camera I was using was a Fuji camera. It was like an old-ass digital camera. And if you want to see some of these pictures I took here, so if I can show it to you right here. Yeah, that's the sign, One Kapamilya Go entrance, and the Gibson Amphitheater. That's where the One Kapamilya Go was, took place. You see here, some of it's pretty dark. My apologies for the, if some of the pictures inside the theater were too dark. At least you can see the sign, One Kapamilya Go. Some of the people. This is before the show, right? Then you see this right here. There's Julia and Kathryn. Yep, I took those pictures for sure, and it has some of the lyrics from the Mara Clara song, right? And also this right here shows Kathryn on the screen, and that's them doing the dance. It's not a great looking picture, but it almost looks like it's might be an AI effect where, but when really it was just like some motion in there. Or using an old ass camera back then, right? And then obviously it's them again. I know, sorry, once again it's pretty dark. And this one is one of the more decent pictures that shows Julia and Kathryn. And I think that's Angeline Quinto and John Lloyd, and I think Coco Martin was there if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, and then those are all the pics I took from that phone. Now. I gotta tell you, dude, it was great seeing them in person, right? It was just great. I wish I had to sit at the front so I could just take their hand and be like, hey, high five, Kathryn and Julia. I actually gave a high five to Kathryn when I was at the Phil-Am Expo. Julia, not really, but Kathryn, yes, I did. And I'll talk. Don't worry. I'll talk about that. I'll definitely talk about that, and when that moment comes. So, So staying on this topic right here, it was an awesome moment. This to me just, and the other one too, are just got to be two of the best moments ever. Just seeing Julia and Kathryn in person, just watching them perform live. Oh my God, just such an amazing moment. And considering that I just barely idolized them, like in the beginning of 2011, and then for me to see them in person, dude, I made the efforts. This is the only set of idols I had. I want to say more so Julia. Julia was the only idol where I've done so much after a span of maybe a few months that I started barely idolizing her to the max, where I just literally loved her and drooled all over her, right? Like that. Considering how many journal entries that I wrote about her and all that shit, right? And just the fact that I got to watch her movie, their movie, the Way Back Home, in theaters. From that to watching her other teleseries in Growing Up, and then seeing them in person, dude, I've done a whole lot for them already. I've done a whole lot for Julia and Kathryn. You know what I'm saying? And then the next year I saw them again in person. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's just a big time wow moment. Just off the bat, I didn't get to do this with Eric. I didn't get to do this with Sarah until 2018 when I saw her at the LAX, right? And I've known Sarah since what, 2007, and it wasn't until like, oh shit, sorry, there's a bicyclist coming in the way. But yeah, what was it like? Yeah, 11 years later, I got to see Sarah at the LAX. And then ultimately ended up seeing her in concert. For Julia, it was 2010, 2011. And then several months later, saw them in person. Twice! And then the next year too, twice. At the meet and greet in the Scientology building for the Star Magic. And then the next... and a couple of days later, the Shrine of the Auditorium in LA, man, woo! My best moments with these idols, man. So, just having done so much with them, and I'm just getting too excited just talking about this. So, you know, after the show was over, what time was that? Like 3 o'clock or something? And then we just I think I couldn't find Jean after, but I mean, I didn't even did I have her number then? No, I didn't. So we just like met, just like we saw each other, I think right at the line. So, you know, after that it was just like I was just pretty much on my own after. So what did I do after? I rode the tram. That was like an afternoon, and that was also the first time I got to experience the King Kong in 3D. And although that was just so awesome, like it felt like a ride on its own, like going through the whole King Kong 3D experience from the Peter Jackson movie of King Kong, right? And you know, it was awesome to see. Just, it almost looks like the tram was just like a roller coaster ride going through the jungle and seeing the battle of the T-Rex and then King Kong, and it was so great. Like, I mean, it's almost like, yeah, it's just it almost looks like the tram was about to fall, right? Just fall off a cliff or whatever. I mean, that was amazing. I gotta tell you, that was an amazing experience. But I still think, like, to me, the old King Kong just stands out to me a lot more because of the fact that he's in the warehouse, and you know that he can shake the bridge, and I just think I get a better nostalgia from that. And you know, as great as this one is, I think I just think the other King Kong, the one in the warehouse, just you know, it just stands out more. And I like the way that it's being presented, like it's a surprise, and then when you go, you know, when you're taken inside. I remember like watching old videos of people riding the tram from before the time that King Kong got burnt in that warehouse with the big animatronic one. So, you know, I remember like the narrator inside the tram would always say, well, lights, camera, and action, you better get your cameras ready because we're about to see some big things happening, or, you know, I've been told that some strange things or weird things have been happening in here lately. Something like that. So they made a surprise. The tram is taken inside. Just think about it. Like, going through the back lot, nobody knows where that building is. And that's what makes this thing stand out as far as like seeing King Kong by surprise. Because remember, nobody would know where King Kong was. So where's the building? And then the narrator would say, hey, well, you know, you better get your cameras ready. And then the tram ultimately takes you into that door, which ultimately leads to the warehouse, right? And that's when you see King Kong right there. Yeah, just right there, just shaking the bridge with the fires, you know. With this one though, when you wear the 3D glasses, it's like there's really no sense of surprise because, you know, people already know it's just 3D King Kong right there. Like, it's literally like right next to the bridge that people used to cross on, or the tram that used to cross on, right? So there's no sense of surprise there when people pick up their glasses already. It's like, oh, it's already we there. Like they already know that King Kong is there. They just don't know how he operates. Like as far as like this attraction goes, the 3D attraction. So I thought the other one was still better because of this sense of surprise and wonder and all. So yeah, rest in peace to the old animatronic King Kong, right? So I started to kind of ramble off here because just talking about Universal and back in the day just brings so much nostalgia. I just feel like I went a little like so much off topic here, but for the most part, so I got to ride the tram, and then I got to ride Jurassic Park the ride. It was then Jurassic Park the ride before it became Jurassic World, and nobody was actually there. I think the lines were empty, and I think I was the only one, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I think there was like a couple people. So I rode the Jurassic Park ride. After that, I think I just called it a day. I think, because I was done after that. So, and then going back, did I take the shuttle? No, I did not take the shuttle going back. So this is where the hard part came. Because I know I had to take the a couple of public transportations just to get back, right? So yeah, I ended up having to walk all the way to, what was it, the metro station, where the red line is. I had to take that back going all the way to downtown LA, and from downtown LA, it was they ended up going to